Morning light is thin and gray as Ethan walks up the school steps. His shoulders slump under a backpack that feels heavier than it should. He smells rain on the pavement and too strong coffee from a nearby cart, but the noise inside him is louder. Schedules, bills at home, a boss who needs him at the cafe after school. He presses his palms into his pockets and forces a smile when classmates bump him. Inside his head, the list repeats. Work tonight, study later, don't let anyone down. His eyes are soft at the edges. He looks like someone who hasn't slept in days. The bell cracks through the air, and he moves with the crowd, feeling life push little by little until he thinks he might fold. The day piles on like heavy boxes. A teacher asks where his assignment is. Ethan's throat tightens. At lunch, he watches the football team practice through a cage of chain link and thinks of tryouts he missed because of a late shift. Mia finds him at the edge of the field and offers a sandwich. She's his oldest friend. Her voice is a small calm. She asks, eyes clear. He shrugs, words failing. Later, he snaps at her when she suggests he rest. He hears the sharpness when it leaves his mouth and hates himself for it. Mia's face slips into hurt, quick and real. The tension grows. Work calls in the afternoon, the store needs him, and the textbooks sit unopened. Every request, school, boss, team, pushes from a different side until he feels boxed in. The failing grade arrives like a hard note. Ethan reads the paper in the quiet of the locker room and feels the air exit his chest. He walks home through an empty street, the wind carrying the distant sound of a late bus. At his small apartment, he throws his keys on the table and sinks onto the couch. The room smells faintly of detergent and yesterday's dinner. He watches the ceiling, and his thoughts crowd into panic. "I can't do this anymore," he whispers, the sentence brittle. He imagines the list again, boss, bills, teacher's expectations, and it all presses down until he feels crushed. Tears come, slow and hot, not loud. He tucks his head into his hands and for the first time in weeks admits he is tired of being pushed. That night, he walks past the local gym, drawn by the sound of thumping and breath. Inside, the air smells of rubber mats and old sweat. Mr. Carter notices him on a bench, shoulders small under a hoodie. Carter is a man with broad hands and a voice that carries the same calm as the floor of the gym. He sits without asking and watches Ethan breathe. "You look worn," Carter says, not unkind. Ethan shrugs. Carter talks low, not lecturing, only telling pieces of his life. Losses, late nights, mistakes that kept coming. Then Carter leans in and says one line that lands like a bell. "Life will always push you." He reaches into his bag and gives Ethan a small weighted wrist strap. "This is more for the reminder than the weight," Carter says. The strap is rough and oddly comforting in Ethan's hand. A tiny spark flares in the dark. Morning comes thinner but different. Ethan tightens the wrist strap around his wrist like a promise. He sets a small plan, 20 minutes of anything, studying one chapter, running to the end of the block, helping a neighbor. No quitting. He starts with the math chapter he's been avoiding. The first 10 minutes feel clumsy. The words seem to swim. He presses the strap and breathes, forcing his eyes back to the page. When 20 minutes pass, he closes the book and feels a small swell of pride. It is tiny and strange, like the first time a bruise fades. He calls Mia to say he's okay. She sounds surprised but relieved. "Good for you," she says simply. The strap is an anchor he can touch, a reminder that resistance can be chosen. Days stack into a pattern. Some mornings he wakes and wants to quit, but the wrist strap is there, rubbing the skin on his arm. He uses it as a cue. Press, breathe, do one task. He apologizes to Mia for snapping. She hugs him and forgives him fully. He talks to his boss about shifting hours slightly. The boss agrees to a trial. He turns in assignments late one week, on time the next. The small wins pile like pennies in a jar. When the urge to escape hits, he presses the strap and remembers Carter's words. He still stumbles, sometimes hard, but he learns to stand back up faster. Strength grows not as a roar, but as a quiet repetition, again and again and again. The real test comes stacked. A major group project due, a night shift, and the second round of football tryouts. In the past, this would have shredded him. This time, he breathes and breaks the load into steps. An hour for the project tonight, 4 hours at work, warm-up at noon before tryouts. He writes a schedule and pins it to his fridge, the strap at his wrist like a steady metronome. At tryouts, he is tired but focused. He runs drills with a rhythm he has practiced in small moments. When he misses a pass, he breathes and moves on. At the end, the coach gives a nod. The project is handed in complete. His boss murmurs approval over the shift. Mr. Carter sees him after a session and simply nods, the kind of nod that recognizes the work beneath the change. Weeks later, Ethan stands before a mirror. He is not unbroken. The lines around his eyes tell the nights he stayed up working and the mornings he forced himself out of bed. But there is steadiness now, a softness that is not weakness but resilience. His grades climb, the coach calls him onto the team, and Mia smiles in a way that says she trusts him again. He presses the wrist strap and feels the familiar weight. It is not a shout but a steady truth. Ethan steps outside into the street where the world hums with cars and conversations. He walks forward at a sure pace, not because the burdens are gone, but because he learned to meet them. The strap sits warm against his skin, a small object holding a large change. If this story moved you, then remember, resistance is a choice. Wear your reminder. Take one small step and push back. Like the video, subscribe for more stories that lift you. Share this with someone who needs a nudge today. When life pushes, push back. One small push at a time.